Welcome to Women of Wisdom, everyone. Today, we're lucky enough to have, out of Kansas City, Shannon Oleen, who is a motivational speaker for teens, I guess you would say. And she's here to talk about women's empowerment. Now, how I secured Shannon on Women of Wisdom is through my best friend who has a disability, as do I. And so we both have cerebral palsy. But as you guys know by now, cerebral palsy doesn't seem to stop us. And that's why I'm asking Shannon to be on Women of Wisdom today, because I want to know why people can't seem to empower themselves even if they don't have a disability. I mean, I'm finding out more and more that people are having wars, me parties on Facebook, which drives me absolutely insane because I'm the type of person that will walk beside people and try to support, but at the same time, I don't want to give them awards, me party. So that's my question to my number one question to Shannon. And so take it away, Shannon.
Well, Wynn, thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show today. You truly inspire me, as does your best friend Danielle. I just feel honored that you would have me on your show. So, with that being said, with your first question, and I do want to say one thing that I am a motivational speaker and I am an inspirational life coach, and I work with all demographics and genders, not just teens, but I also do work with women and I do work with men as well. In fact, yesterday I just spoke at a women's luncheon for 1,000 people and talking about following your dreams and not letting things hold you
Good
back
on
in life.
you. Good on
So,
you. I mean,
when we talk about women's empowerment, when we talk about just people in general feeling good about themselves and being inspired and empowered to actually live their lives to the fullest, I have the same question that you do, When what is holding people back from making that happen? For me, I think that people let fear take over. I think that people let negativity into their lives and it stops them from truly dreaming big and really going after anything and everything that they want in life. And so, we learn at an early age that people can certainly be negative towards one another. And I think early on in our lives, we start to condition ourselves that we have to have our guard up and that we can't that we let other people kind of dictate for us what we can or can't do on this planet. And so that's really one of my biggest messages in life is that you have to take control of yourself. You have to be in control of how you're treating others and how you're treating yourself. And that if you can empower yourself to truly not let any of that negativity into your life, then the possibilities are really endless. If you can dream big,
exactly.
yeah, you can
Exactly.
do it anything you put your mind to.
I believe that wholeheartedly. And when people are having wars, me parties, what do you say to people? I mean, you and I are in the same boat. I
Mhm.
am a semi professional speaker. I will pick that up in the fall professionally. But what do we say to people when they're like, oh, life is so tough, life is so tough, and then go on Facebook and share the Wallace Me Party with their support network, and it's like, you've got to quit doing this. You need to get off Facebook, focus on what you need to focus on, and then get back on Facebook or come to one of us who's a motivational speaker or a coach and let us help you with the War With Me party. But to those who are on Facebook and they don't know how to put it nicely enough to come to a coach or come to a disabled woman in my case, what do we say to people?
Well, and I think you're absolutely right. It all starts internally, and the first thing that I tell people is that you have to take it upon yourself to be able to give yourself the sunshine that you need in your life. One of my coaches used to always say, it's your choice. You can either choose to look at the sun in the sky and all of the brilliance and radiance that it offers us, or you can choose to look at the trash can in front of it. It's your choice.
I
And
like that. I like that.
I
I
know.
like that.
So I think,
You can
the
choose
reality.
to look the sun in the sky in the front of you. I'm laughing because that's a perfect analogy. I'm just laughing at a standstill because that is a perfect analogy because a lot of times people do look at the trash can and you've probably noticed on personal Facebooks, uh, fan pages that people who follow me and follow you think, how do these two women do it? And follow Danielle, quite frankly, think how all of us do it. And we just don't have the woe is me attitude. We
Right.
may have the woe is me attitude occasionally, but
Hmm.
we know how to put on the public persona and then have the woe is me attitude off Facebook on the phone with a good girlfriend or something. But a lot of people don't know how to put the public persona on.
Well, and I think, you're talking about something that every single person in this world deals with. We all have bad moments in our lives. We all have moments that are less than ideal. We deal with, health issues, or we deal with, maybe we got a speeding ticket one day and we didn't mean to get a speeding ticket. Maybe we've dealt with some sort of a job loss of some sort. And so, we all have issues and to certain different degrees, and I think that people need to be able to educate themselves about how to really properly manage handling the emotions that come along with dealing with something negative that has happened in their lives. And like you just said, you can either air your dirty laundry on social networks, or you can choose to do it in the privacy of your home with maybe just one other person or two other people. And so I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong way either way, but what I do think is most important is that we take care of ourselves mentally and emotionally, and that we find the right ways, the healthy ways, to be able to help ourselves through those negative
I
times.
definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening with me is I end up seeing all the woe is me, and it's like, you guys gotta stop. You guys got to understand that we all have woe is me moments. Don't necessarily focus on the woe is me moments. The woe is me moments will get better, but not if you don't control the woe is me moments. They will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you can't control it.
Yeah.
Until the person individually can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I keep telling Danielle that if she has a woe is me moment, come to me off
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. Come to someone off Facebook. I mean, she'll have a woe is me moments. We'll all have woe is me moments, but for we might as well control them while they're a small fire
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
instead of a huge fire, because woe is me moments can get huge
Mm-hmm.
without us noticing it.
Absolutely.
And so this leads me to my second question, which is um, how do you do you ever find that you can't, people come to you as an inspirational life coach, and you can't, you say to people, they give you, you woe is me moment, like, let's say I got a speeding ticket, and you say, I can't help you. I can't help you because you can't, you're not ready to accept help. So is there any people that you just can't help due to they're not ready to accept the help?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. And at the end of the day, you can try to do as much as you possibly can within your support network. But if that individual doesn't want to take the necessary steps to be able to get themselves right mentally and emotionally, then there's nothing that the outside world can do. You know, the best things that we can do is just try to unconditionally love that person and support that person as best as we can.
Exactly. Exactly. And then I have a friend who's going through a little bit of a personal crisis right now, and she, we are trying to love her, we are trying to support her, and it's very tough. The but at the same time, she knows what she's doing, but at the same time, she just doesn't want to accept the help.
Yeah, and that happens. There are people
And nine times
there.
out of 10, people people ask me all the time, "Do you need help?" And 9 times out of 10, I'm so damn stubborn. I don't accept the help. But there are days where I say, "Yes, I do need the help. Help
Mhm,
me." And
mhm,
9 times out of 10, when I land up saying, "Help me,"
mhm,
someone will come out of the woodwork to
mhm.
help me,
Right.
and or know someone that can help me.
Absolutely.
And so, um, leading back to my original question that I open up with, why do you think women don't want to be empowered to help
Mhm.
themselves? I mean, I'm noticing, I also teach, for those of you who don't know that, and I'm noticing that this next generation, the parents are being the kids' best friend, whereas Danielle's and my generation, we are being raised by the baby boomer generation who was taught respect by their parents. Whereas this generation, when I say go pick up that box, they just look at me like you're nuts.
Mhm.
And they, although some of them get it, but they also look at me because I'm disabled like I'm nuts. So, although some of them get that too. So it's like, how do you and I teach this next generation about respect?
Sure. I think you hit the nail on the head that every single generation has their kind of like idiosyncrasies. They have their positives and their negatives, and we have to be responsible for ourselves to be able to come to the table and meet them halfway, and they have to come to the table and meet us halfway. And so, if that requires more on our part to be able to understand what channels of communication are going to be most effective for this next generation, then by all means, we need to educate ourselves on what's going to be able to make that work in the best way possible.
By doing
Um,
a 50-50 split.
yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, I think every generation is different. I think, you know, when you talk about respect specifically, that they understand the Gen Y or millennials understand respect in a whole different way than we understand respect. And so, if we can understand what they know, then we can also, that will help us that much greater so that we know how we can help them if we
Yes,
understand what they
well,
do and don't.
I'm the 87 generation. The 87 generation knows about respect.
Hmm.
And the analogy I keep using is I walk in my classroom um, at the beginning of May. And I know this next generation is addicted to technology. But I thought, okay, these kids are going to look up and notice that I'm there. Do you know that these kids, when I walked into that room, didn't look up? They kept on their iPads, and it's like, okay, you've got to look up when a person walks into the room because what if that person needs help? And it's very funny that you say let's do a 50-50 split. And I agree with you when you say let's do a 50-50 split. Let's meet them halfway. Let's have them do do it do it as a 50-50 split.
Absolutely.
Because and I'll use that I'll, I'll use an analogy as you just said it next year when I teach these kids because I'm walking a fine line. I mean, I'm holding a 2-year education degree and I'm a published author, but yet I'm disabled. So I need to learn how to do the 50-50 split myself.
Well, I think we all can be reminded of it all the time. We have different levels of understanding of what each generation is about, and so if we can just at the end of the day understand what that generation needs or what that individual needs, then we can be better informed about how to work with that person.
Do you ever find that you should write a book on all this stuff for the
Absolutely.
teens, for the adults,
Mm-hmm.
for everyone else? That I know it's a huge culture out there. I also know the religious aspects are a huge niche too, and so it's the way you and I do it is a very unique way. I come from a vantage point of no, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had to work as hard as hell to get what I wanted, and I still do. And I don't know how you were raised, but I feel like you should write a book on all this amazing wisdom that you're giving us today.
Thank you, Win. I really do. I need to finish writing my book, and so certainly that will be the next step for sure in my career.
So the book is in the process.
It's
That's
in a very slow start process, but yes, it's in the works.
that's yeah, that's where you were getting. So it's well, is it geared towards teens or is it geared towards anyone or is it geared towards a specific niche within the self-help inspirational category or
Sure,
where is it going
sure.
towards?
So this past year, there's been a certain evolution within my inspirational talks, and we talk a lot about having a three step plan called Dream It, Map It, Reach It. And my entire philosophy about life is that first and foremost, you've got to be willing to dream big. If you're not willing to do that, then like you and I just talked about, no one else can help you live the life that you want. And so if you have the courage and the capacity to dream big, then all you have to do is get to that next step of mapping it, creating a roadmap to actually creating the dream life that you want in your life. So you dream it, map it, and then the final step is to finally reach it. You've got to be willing to work so hard to get where you want to go in life. And so I think
I
really
I like that.
that messaging is perfect for anybody in my opinion. And so it's
I
just
like
dream
that
it, map it, reach
philosophy
it.
of
So, yeah.
dream it, map it, live it. And yeah, I am more into mapping it and living it than I am dreaming it, but I would like to have you be a part of my journey and my book eventually. It's a For those of you who do not know this, I'm actually putting together an anthology of 15 authors, and it's gonna be called The Missing Puzzle Piece of Women and Men. And what lands up happening is because there's so many anthologies out there, I want people to focus on the puzzle piece of using their knowledge to fill in the puzzle piece of this book, and it will all go together. And what will end up happening is the I don't think a lot of people know about the dream it, map it, live it philosophy. I learned about the dream it, map it, for live it philosophy through a outreach leadership course based out of Colorado Springs, and they took 10 individuals. I was lucky enough to be blessed with that opportunity. And that's how I wrote my first book,
That's
using
awesome.
that philosophy of dream it, map it, live it. And, I got the looks beyond looks, and this was 10 months after my mom died, too. And so I got the looks beyond looks of, okay, this person
Mhm.
is crazy to be writing her own biography. But
Mhm.
somehow they wrote it down, and I gave myself a year. I
Mhm.
gave myself a year, and I'm giving myself a year with all my books. And so I gave myself a year, and within that year, I wrote the original manuscripts to I Win. And within that year, I turned around and looked at all those 11 naysayers, now 20 naysayers, and I said, look, this is what I have accomplished within this year. And they just looked at me like, okay, maybe this person isn't crazy, because that was my that was their philosophy of
Mhm.
you dream it, you you map it, you live it,
Reach
and
it. Dream it,
reach
map it, reach it.
dream it, map it, reach it,
Mhm.
and you that was their philosophy, and it's a philosophy that I use every single day, and I should use it more. And it wasn't necessarily, even though Dream and Rapid Reaching was is for able-bodied in your case, it's for anyone that wants to set a goal and achieve it.
Mhm.
And yes, you have to ask for help.
Mhm.
You have to
Mhm.
ask for accountability partners here, people. You can't just do it all on your own. You have to say, can you help me? Or do you know someone that can? And
Right.
9 times out of 10, people will come out of the woodwork to help you.
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10, if Shannon or I say SOS, 9 times out of 10, people will come out of the woodwork to assist, and I'll find someone that can.
Mhm.
I'll find someone that can. I
Mhm.
mean, I learned about the self publishing process, and I'm teaching others, including Danielle. And so it's been a really unique journey using that philosophy of dream it, nap it, reach it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been a really unique philosophy of using that. And so I highly recommend that people look up that philosophy either on Shannon's website, or I can explain a little bit more of my leadership workshop, and I can explain of how I did it. And in my book, I specifically say what this leadership workshop was. But I highly recommend that people land up using that philosophy in any sit in any situation, in any body type they're in, because I think that's a wonderful philosophy.
Thank you.